everyone. This is the Osicona Hour. I'm your host, Alejandro Fajardo, and with me today I have
Juan Martinez.
And we're going to be covering and reviewing Sinners, the original motion picture that has hit most theaters now.
Yeah.
And well, let me hear your first couple of thoughts going in.
I think Sinners was a really great movie. I think that I personally went into it blind. And going into it blind,
Not watching like a trailer or anything.
Yeah, never even watching a trailer. I think the most I watched was the meme from Twitter that was like, "Boy, if you don't get the fuck out of my face."
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I was seated.
You were excited for a good time.
I was excited for a good time, and it was really good. It blew my socks away, and yeah, I'm just glad to be talking about it.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited that it was like a really good movie. I feel like lately the movies that have been put out haven't been as good.
Yeah.
I felt like very disappointed the last couple times I've been at the theaters. But same as you, I went in blind. Most films now I go in blind. I don't really watch the trailers or anything. But I enjoyed it. I think it's always nice seeing Michael B. Jordan on the big screen, as you would agree.
And he was hot.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked it. I think it was cool. Yeah. I think it was we're doing spoilers, right? Okay, so
yeah.
So spoilers for trigger warning for spoilers. Now, so watch Sinners, then come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think it was a vampire film.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me neither. I think while I was watching it, I was like, I had like a thought of what it would be.
I thought it was just going to be demons and ghouls.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't even know that. So as I was watching it, I was like, okay, this is a movie about music. Then I was like, oh wait, this is a movie about monsters. And then I was like, it's a movie about vampires.
When I was watching it, started watching it, I knew it was going to about. I knew it had like demons and ghouls, especially like the first how it started.
Yeah.
But when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be more like a Footloose sort of vibe, where like they're just demonizing, like dancing and that sort of thing, as like people do every now and then through history.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be about that. I didn't think there was going to be an actual fucking like monster.
Yeah.
I thought like it was going to be more subliminal, like the monster.
No, yeah, I think you're definitely onto something. I think that's actually a really cool way to kind of see it, like them, because they were kind of in a way demonizing. They weren't. At least performing, like at a place like a juke joint.
Yeah.
For that guy who was like the son of a preacher.
Sammy.
Yeah, exactly. And
we should go over the characters before we get really into it, though.
Yes, let's do that.
Because I was losing track of the twins even.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but okay, so let's get started here. Or any other first thoughts?
No, I recommend watching it for people who haven't watched it. Really good.
I think it's a film to watch at the theaters too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you should watch it at your house.
Probably not watch it with drinks. I watched it with drinks, and like halfway through, I almost screamed.
What? I feel like that's fun.
I was just like, I was getting way too into it, and then they put the white guy on there, and I was like,
they're like, no, not him.
It was so scary.
No, that was terrifying, for several reasons.
Yeah.
But, oh my God. Where'd you watch it?
I went to a movie theater in Campbell called the Prune Yard.
The Prune Yard. Yeah.
And I went with...
they have the reclining seats.
Yeah. I went with a friend, and they have the reclining seats. They have like food that they take to your...
I want to put you on to this one theater in Oakland, and it's called... and they also sell food there. It's called the New Parkway.
Oh,
and it's like a little theater, worker owned, I believe. I don't know, don't quote me on that. But... and they have like sofas and like random seating and like repurposed seating. It's really cool, and they have sell food there too.
Oh, okay.
And they have like a spice rack where you can put spices on your popcorn.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
I've been there a couple times. Kind of cool.
Nice.
Two salas though. So it's like, whatever. Anyways, okay. I should go there sometime. I think it'd be nice. So let's get into it. Let's start out with our cast. So we have the two twins that you see in the trailer, which are Stack and Smoke. And I noted here, so Smoke is the one with the blue hat.
Okay.
And Stack is the one with the red hat.
Really grateful for them to do that.
No, literally, because I was losing track of them, and I was like, I had to write it down. And then we have Sammy, who's the son of the preacher, and who's really good with a guitar. And then that's all for now. And then I'll introduce the other characters as they come about on screen. So it opens with a voiceover, and they say this. They are legends of people born with the gift of making music so true it can pierce the veil between life and death, conjuring spirits from the past and the future. In ancient Ireland, they were called Fili. In Choctaw land, they call them firekeepers. And in West Africa, they are called griots. This gift can bring healing to their communities, but it also attracts evil.
I think that's true. If you ever I don't know your background, have you ever done anything like in music, like you ever learned an instrument or anything like that?
I can strum a couple of chords.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. And there's definitely this concept that it gets tossed around in music is called getting in the zone.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's low key what they touched on is once someone is so good at making music that they can constantly get in the zone and make other people feel like they're in the zone too with them. It's like opening a portal. It's almost like... Okay,
I 100% see that because I see that and you feel that sometimes when you're out in outings and there's music playing and you're really into it. But that it attracts evil? Well, that, does it attract a bad vibe? Is that what they're referring to?
I think
because this was news to me, low-key.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not well informed.
I think it's more so if you have a big light in a dark place, it's gonna attract both people who seek light and then people who want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and appropriate it.
Yeah.
And make it as their own. Yeah. Okay. I see that.
Yeah.
When you have something really good, inevitably someone would want to take it.
Yeah.
Okay, I see where you're going. Okay, so this is 1932, we're in Mississippi. This opening shot of Sammy driving to his dad's church with the handle of a guitar with flashes of the man who we do not yet know who his name is or what he is, but he has fangs.
Yeah.
And that's already but no, not even fangs, just sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sammy has scratch marks on his face. So they did this thing in the movie where they did the full circle thing. What did you think of it?
I thought it's a interesting storytelling device or whatever it's called, but I think if you're a first time viewer, it's definitely tricky because you're thinking okay, this is where the story starts. And then it goes, oh no, this happened 24 hours ago?
Yeah. It was one day earlier, yeah.
And so you kind of get seated and you're okay, finally the movie's starting. And then you're wait, now I have to really...
Well, you put that in the back of your head.
Yeah, you put that in the back of your head.
Did you like that?
I think I did, but I think that if I was the director, I don't know if I would go that way. I think I would just tell the story.
Okay.
Yeah, just to make it easy to digest.
If you were in the room, you would have directed in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. So we get a shot of Sammy and we get an idea of his background, who his dad is, what are his values and whatnot. And clearly Sammy doesn't really feel the same way about music.
And I think that scene where they start fleshing out Sammy and his dad's and their dynamic and everything is really interesting because it's literally the first scene and it's literally Sammy looking for his guitar and
okay. You're talking I'm still on the flashback.
Oh, okay, the flashback. Okay.
And I think they did really well. I think it tells you a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And I think that's always good as a director when you're able to convey a dynamic in a very short time.
And people can pick it up so immediately.
And so easily, yeah. But yes, okay. So then we pan to one day earlier, and it's damn, what happened? Because he was he had scratches on his claws down there and his face, which was terrifying to everybody in the room, including the audience. So one day earlier, it's his work day, and he's like pans him like going through his job and whatnot, and then he's looking for his guitar under his bed, and it's missing. And the audience could deduce that that's the same guitar or similar guitar. It wasn't actually, but the similar guitar that he was holding in the first scene. And then we see our first shot of Michael B. Jordan in front of a shack, or not a shack, in front of the old sawmill. Yes. And then he's meeting with a white man, but the white man is being so mean to him, calling them boys, being very condescending. And yeah, they like call him out on that. And then they make the sale.
Yes, I think that scene is...
And they're dressed very nicely too.
Yeah, they are
dressed very nicely. With the suit and chain and whatnot. And
I love like the imagery of them, like, I think one of them was smoking, like when they
got
introduced. Yeah, smoke, they were probably smoking. But yeah, I think that scene, that like immediate first scene, both with Sammy and with Smoke and Stack, is very telling to us of their characters, who they are going to be, and like what they kind of care about.
Yeah.
Sammy caring about
his guitar. Smoke and Stack caring about the old sawmill.
And
their business. Yeah.
So I like it. It's a very...
I didn't notice that. Yeah. It absolutely does tell you what their motives are and what they mostly care about.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then we're back on Sammy, and we see the guitars at the church. And then that's when his dad tells him this. Son, you keep dancing with the devil, one day he's going to follow you home.
Ooh.
I feel like I've been told this before. Like I feel like this is something that every parent tells their child at one point or another.
Yeah.
Like has your parents ever told you a story about how when they saw the devil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My mom, like, literally coming from like her pueblo in Mexico, like she talked about how
she was like, I was at the club, or like
literally one of my tias being like coming back from the club driving, and that she like saw a man who had a pig ear, and he had like the hair of like a bear or something like that, mixed like animals and imagery of like hooves, like all things like that. So I was like, I think this quote coming from the dad is very
like just shit that parents say, kind of.
Yeah, and it's like helpful, like also being more of an adult, like knowing that your parents say stuff like this, because right away when I saw this, I like dismissed the dad.
Yeah, I dismissed that too, because I was like, whatever. Like,
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I've heard like plenty of stories from my parents talking about the devil this, the devil that. Yeah. Like if you fucking shake your ass, the devil's gonna the devil's
gonna clap with you. Yeah.
The devil's gonna follow you home.
Yeah.
They didn't say that particularly, but that's kind of like the messaging.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, nothing else. Like it definitely was foreshadowing, especially with like the first quote. The one I read earlier, like, it's about evil, like, if there's good vibes, if the ambiente is fun and lively, someone else is gonna be coming sniffing around.
And I think that also touches on, like, almost how joy, especially with, like, people who are minorities, like
like black and brown people,
like them, like first off, like Smoke and Stack wanting to open a juke joint,
right,
and the white guy kind of being like a little bit displeased with them, but he's like, I just am in it for the money. And like,
we find out also later that this was like the deal. It was not a clean deal. It was not a clean deal.
Yeah, but that's for later.
That's for later.
But like their joy of like them opening up a juke joint, like. It's like, okay, the white guy sees it as like he doesn't want like kind of that to happen, but he's like, whatever, I just want the money. And then the father also not wanting Sammy to experience the joy of like playing his guitar,
right?
Because he's scared he's gonna fall into like
into temptation,
into like these like dark, mysterious world. I think it's kind of interesting. Like that's a very interesting concept of joy being seen as like harmful.
Right. Well, I think it's like what it attracts.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. You know, and it's because they probably had experience with joy and how it turned into something or attracted a sort of evil. But yeah, crazy. crazy. That's something that parents say. Okay, so then Sammy hops into the truck with Smoke, the one with the blue hat, and Stack with the red hat, and they pull over where there's a pickup truck. And this is where there's a sweet shot of the snake or the rattlesnake in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And it's the quick little maneuver.
It's like a mini jump scare.
It's a little jump scare.
Yeah.
It's their first little jump scare.
Yeah.
And then you see them wield the knife, or one of them throws the knife to the other. I think it's Smoke to Stack.
And I think that's also a really interesting scene because it shows like
they're so connected.
They're so connected, and it shows Smoke and Stack also. It almost makes you feel safe around them because they just killed a snake that was gonna harm us.
They're safe.
They're like our saviors. Like it's really like makes us get really close to them immediately. Like we're like, okay, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. I think it more so hints at like they're just good with a knife. Yeah. They've just been around. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and it shows their skills with
their skill
weapons.
set. Their skill set. Yeah. Okay, so they split up. So Stack and Sammy, and then Smoke goes to the pueblito, the little stores.
Yeah.
Little stores.
The plaza.
The plaza, exactly. Thank you. So Smoke goes to the store, and then, but not before he asks a young girl to watch his car. And then we see this beautiful exchange between him and this little girl, and he's like negotiating, and there's like, just like, look over my car. I thought that was very cute. I think it showed him just like different angles to him. So he goes into the store, talks with the shopkeeper, and they seem like they know each other. Let me just say this, I love when it's like the reunion, and they're like the girl, what was her name? The daughter of Grace and Bo.
Yeah.
The shopkeepers. Fuck, whatever. She calls her dad.
Yeah.
And she's like, and he was like, oh, there's someone here to see you, whatever. And he comes, and they're like, boy, like I'll be, and then they do like a hug and a reunion. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it's like meeting old acquaintances.
Old friends, old acquaintances. I love that scene. I love when it's so like cliche, but I'm glad that they still have it in movies. Okay, sweet. So they're talking about like what they need for the juke joint, like food, a sign, some other stuff, whatever. Yeah. Things that you would need for a juke joint. Okay, and then we hear the horn that the little girl is doing on the car. So he comes back, sees like men trying to steal from his truck, and they're people that he knows, and then he shoots them. Yeah. In the butt. Yeah. And then in his knees. And then what would you make of that?
Well, I do want to kind of talk about the scene, like the whole scene.
Okay. Everything.
To the plaza, but I'll mention that this scene where he shoots them is another showcasing of like them being, I don't want to say ready to pull the trigger, but they're ready to like show people that like they're
back. They're so back.
Yeah, and like they're not pussy. Yeah, like, they'll do it.
Yeah.
But I think if I could break down the whole scene, well, what did you think of the scene?
I liked it. I think it was cute. Yeah. I just liked the scene with the girl. Yeah. With the little girl. I thought that was so adorable.
I think my favorite is the scene with the shops and the family owners and then
Bo
the daughter.
And Grace.
Yeah, Bo and Grace, and then the daughter.
Lisa, I think.
Yes.
What's her name? Yeah.
Because I think to me it really is like it's like an opportunity to world build. Yeah. In that moment, and I think it shows that people who are in the film, people who are like minorities, they really have to hustle. Like the daughter is fully in one store, and then she goes to another store.
She's working the till.
And then she goes to another store, and she seems very like well versed in
it. Yeah. Because she takes over her mom's till when she like tells him that the dad is looking for her. Yeah. I think so too. I like the world building. I like seeing like different aspects, because I hate when a movie takes place in one single location for the whole fucking film. Yeah. And the one that comes to mind, and I remember this so vividly because we went to the fucking movie theaters to watch this when it came out. And it pissed. I think I fell asleep. This a little bit of a tangent. Yeah. But like, it pissed me off we watched Total Recall. I don't know if you remember that film.
Oh no.
It's some yeah, whatever. And like it was a remake too. But essentially it's just a man and he is in like a chamber or something, and then he's like I don't know, I don't fucking remember. But the point is his consciousness gets sent out to live out a reality, then he gets killed, and then he's like wakes up in the chamber again. And it's just over and over and over again.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, and I was like, where are we going?
Yeah, I would feel
we're going nowhere.
I would feel nauseated. I'd be like, I need them to move, like show something else.
It's making me feel sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna throw up. No, literally.
Yeah, but I think if we're going back, like the world building on this movie is so good because
it's good. I don't think there was enough of it, to be honest, because I wanted to know more about why did they even come back in the first place, and maybe I didn't read between the lines, but I'll get into a detail right now. So the people that they shot, they were like, oh, I thought you were working with Capone, and there was like I was, or like Schmoke was like I was. And I'm like, okay, when were we gonna talk about that?
And then never mention
it again. Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm not very well versed. Like, I have to go and look, okay, what does Capone do in 1932? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't know, like stealing something?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right that the world building did.
I just want more background on them.
Yeah, it's like these people in this movie are so like background rich that like I want to know literally everything about them, even if we can skip ahead like to mention this person, the singer who meets Sammy and like she's eventually his love interest.
She is. That's starts with a P. We'll get to that. Yeah, I have it up here. I don't want to lose my place.
She's someone who I really want to know everything about her. Like, how did she get to this city? Because she's not from there, and how did she know the other girl who was
Annie?
Yeah, Annie. There you go, Annie. And yeah, I'm like, these characters are just so background rich that I really.
And I think, I mean, because the thing is, the movie isn't about the characters or how they got there. It's about sinning.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what we're here to talk about.
And that's what we're here to talk about. Okay. Okay, so there's a short, like, I wouldn't say montage because there's no background music. I consider that a montage. But Smoke is gathering supplies. Then we cut back to Stack and Sammy, and it pans to them driving, and they have a combo. I didn't catch this the first time, but I saw like a tweet or some shit about a button, and I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, did you catch that?
No, actually.
Okay, so he was essentially explaining to him how to eat coochie, and the button, that's what that was.
Okay.
And the button, he was like, oh, you have to do, it's like a little button when you find it, and you eat it like an ice cream. And I was like, what the fuck?
Interesting.
It was so short. I barely caught it.
One of the common themes that I took from the movie when I first watched it was the fact that they mention oral sex kind of frequently.
Really? Okay, that's one time they mentioned it. What was the other time?
Another time, I think it was Annie who goes up to him.
Okay, yes, that does happen later on.
Yeah.
When Annie, she's like, oh, but then no, so I almost forgot that you said that or whatever. Yeah.
And then there's also, obviously, once Sammy and the singer
and Miss
go into the back room and...
Perline.
And when Sammy and Perline go into the back room and they have their little encounter, I don't know, there was a little one-offs that like mention oral sex and also have oral sex.
They're talking about sinning.
And they're talking about sin, girl.
So I think
oral sex is a sin.
It's a sin. I think that's what they're saying. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they're in the car. Sammy plays guitar. Then we meet with our next performer, Delta Slim, which is the harmonica player playing at I think it's the train station.
Yes.
Was it? Okay. And they cut him a deal for $40 and all the Irish beer he can drink. They made that Irish beer look so scrumptiously dumptious.
They kind of did.
I wanted to crack one open right then and there. Yeah,
I feel like it would taste like vanilla and marshmallows.
I know. It tastes like a creamsicle.
Like a creamsicle, yes. That's exactly what I got. Yeah.
That's the vibe that it gave, but it hella doesn't, I don't think.
I
think it tastes very bitter. Yeah. I don't really like beer. Do you?
No, I think, well, once you get drunk to the point that beer starts tasting like water, it tastes really good.
Really?
It does.
But people start with beer.
Yes.
I don't know.
Men love to like well, men and women, I don't know, but mostly we see it with men. They love to have a meal with beer, and I can't get behind that.
I can't get behind that either. Okay, so but they go like they have a back and forth between Delta Slim and Stack, and it's like he's like, oh, I don't really want to work for you because I have this gig that I do every Saturday,
which I love because Delta Slim mentions that gig will be there for him next week.
You're gonna only be this week.
Yeah. And it kind of shows how erratic or like volatile Smoke and Stack's businesses can be.
Yeah.
Because it's like they can be here one day and they can be just.
Which is fair. Which is like put yourself in his shoes. Like I have like a gig that I have like every day, and I've committed to this. Why would I like do that?
Yeah, exactly.
And look, it cost him his fucking life.
Yeah, it cost him his life, and it shows that he's also a hustler. He's also not
absolutely.
Like, he's not just some drunk. Like he thinks about the future, you know, but he just enjoys drinking.
He enjoys drinking. Yeah. Yes, indeed he does. An Irish beer. Okay, so then we meet our first ladies.
Yes.
And not first ladies but like
the political sense.
Not in the political sense. A typo. And so we meet Perlene, and Perlene talks with Sammy.
Yes.
Who's married, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary,
Perlene was married?
Perlene was married.
Oh.
I know. Okay. I know. I saw that, and I was like, oh.
She really was sinning.
Yeah, I mean, really they were all kind of sinning. But no, yeah, she was hella fucking married. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn.
She was married as fuck.
Yeah, we don't know who the man is.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever, like, who cares? But still, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know what her age is. I know Sammy's like a young man.
I think he's like 18.
Oh, okay.
That's how I took it when I saw it.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Because I'm like, that's like perfect movie age, young man movie age.
Young man movie age 18. Perline's probably like, I don't know, 20-something.
She gave me 23 vibes.
She gave me 20-something vibes. Yeah. Me too. And then we marry, and then she lets Stack have it. Mm-hmm. And they get to, and then, hold on.
Well, she let him have it because he ditched her.
Yeah, when they were like young or something.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning of the story they said, or like, they were like, oh, we've been gone a long time. We've been gone 7 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, well, how old is she?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they were probably like teenagers or some shit.
And then it does get revealed later on. I mean, I guess we'll probably talk about it.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
She grew up with them.
Like, yeah, she grew up with them. Her mom helped give birth. Mm-hmm. Helped birth them too.
Yeah.
Her mom dies. It's a shame. Mm-hmm. Anyways, okay, so Mary, so then they go back in the car, Stack and Sammy, along with Slim, and they get to their destination, but not before they recruit another person. Mm-hmm. Do you know who this person is?
Is he the guy who's gonna be the doorkeeper?
Yes.
Do
you remember his name?
No.
His name was Cornbread. So we're back. So now they're all in the car, but before that, we're back with Smoke at a gravesite, mm-hmm. and we know that that's his baby. Mm-hmm. And I'm hesitant to say wife because I don't think they ever say wife, partner.
Yeah.
I don't know. His wife Annie, and she's a spirit worker or a root worker, mm-hmm. And she's selling some herbs to some children mm-hmm. that come by. And it's insinuated that she does this for a living. Mm-hmm. So we see, and she picks him a mojo bag, which do you remember that this comes into play later?
Yes, actually.
Okay, hold it there then. And then there's a moment, a very sacred moment between Smoke and Annie.
Sacred?
Well, how else do you want me to say it?
Because I'm thinking of when they start having sex.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, it's a sacred moment because it's like them getting back together, reuniting, and honestly, like that's very.
Wait, so he hadn't been there? He hadn't seen her since 7 years?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
And so they were also probably kids then too. Yeah. Or I don't fucking know. Whatever. Anyways, okay, so they have a moment. And then we have a short, and this is a montage. Mm-hmm. And then it ends with the sun going down.
Yes.
And we know what happens when the sun goes down. Alrighty. So we're left off. So Rimek hands over the 3 gold doubloons.
Yeah.
The white people take it. the Ku Klux Klan members take it. And there's another funny thing that happens with them, but whatever. We'll come back to that. Okay. And then we see the Choctaw people coming.
Yeah.
And they pull up to the same house, and he says, and I quote, "May God forbid you let him into your home." Hint, hint. Did you catch this one?
Yes. I mean, just
Are you well versed?
I'm well versed. Just from seeing him like burning, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like I feel like we knew.
Yeah.
He was burning from the sun.
Yeah.
He needed to be invited in. And I mean, that was enough for me.
And then the warning, yeah.
And the warning, yeah.
I think this scene is pretty interesting. I think it gives us like the first inkling of like conflict in the movie.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, this guy is like no good.
Our antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is no good. Okay, so then we switch back to the juke joint, and it's lighting up. There's a little bit of trouble between Smoke and Stack and Annie, because most patrons are paying with the wooden coins that they get paid at their work.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, this isn't good outside of like the market, which is so fucked to be fucking paid.
Yeah.
With like
money that's not even real.
Like fake ass currency. Yeah. Anyways, so they disagree on that, but then it's fine. And then Mary and Stack get into a little bit of a disagreement, which I'm having trouble remembering now that I wrote this down. He's just telling her to leave, and and to fuck off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so mean. Which is like that was your girl. Whatever. Okay, so the juke joint continues to light up, and Sammy and Sim start playing. And this is where the commencement of one of my favorite scenes, and where we hear again the quote from the beginning of the movie. And people start dancing from the past, from the future, and the present, and they all commingle from different cultures and genres of dance. And yeah, that's all I have for this one, because I figured we'd just talk.
Yeah, I think that
was so expertly done.
Yes, it's so beautifully done. And I think that it touches on the concept we talked about singers. Of joy and singers being in the zone.
Yeah.
Because it's like showcases all these other genres and how they get in the zone. Like there's a rock person who's like
a rockero.
And then there was like I want to say African dance.
Yeah.
African dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from West Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really really cool.
And if I wanna, and I may be mistaken, but I think it's like Malawian dance.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. It was a very well made scene. I think my favorite scene of the movie.
Oh, by far. And I noticed this because I rewatched it earlier today, is that it was the only scene where, I don't know what the fuck the dimensions are, but it filled up the rest of the screen.
Yeah.
I even noticed that the first time I watched it. It was the only time. The rest of the time it was like a rectangle.
In like widescreen.
Yeah, in a widescreen.
I think it was really good that they were singing so good that literally the building caught on fire.
The house burned down.
The house burned down like boots. It was that good. And I think just like judging from how the building is burning down, and then once we get that final shot where it's the outside of the building.
We're seeing it from the devil's point of view.
Yes, we're seeing it from the devil's point of view, where it's literally the building is all like, it's just remains now, and it's just people dancing, and there's so much warmth there. There's so much like soul and light, and then that's like.
And the devil laughs.
Because he is attracted to that, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Every time, as I was writing this, I just thought of that meme. And the devil laughs, which is of the lady with the monster can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but I still remember.
Do you know what a MILF is?
I don't remember that part.
She says that.
Okay. Weird lady. Okay, and then so that happens, and apparently everybody was feeling the vibe that day, because then Sammy and Perline shoo away. and hide away. And it literally turns into the fuck shack because everybody fucking takes a turn.
And in that same room, too.
In that same room.
So, I mean, I kind of want to go in that
I kind of want to figure out, like...
and see what's up with that room.
What's up with the vibes there.
Yeah.
No, yeah. No, do you think we'd be invited?
I think we'd be invited.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah. I think that scene where they, like, shoo off and it's so, like...
It's so reminiscent of like being at a party.
Yeah.
And then like going with your crush.
Yeah. And that's the thing, when I watched it, I didn't even know she was married. So for me, it just felt like young love that I was like, oh my God, rooting for.
Yeah. No, she was fully fucking married.
Yeah.
And she like, Sammy asked him, was like, oh, is your husband coming? She was like, no.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
He was scheming too.
He was. Yeah, he was. And then I think, yeah, like again, we see another context of oral sex where he starts undressing her. Of the button. He starts undressing her.
And he does not care.
He does not care.
That she walked there.
He specifically tells her, I want to taste you.
Oh.
Which, crazy to say. Like.
I know.
That's insane.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. I was like, damn. Okay. So they're there, and then Stack overhears them, and he like sees them through he overhears them. He doesn't. I don't think he opens the door. You can just hear them through like the fucking wooden door because there's like no insulation.
Yeah.
Pan 2, the devil, Remick and his patrons trying to get in at the door, and they play a song. I was gonna say they played the Rocky Road to Dublin, but that's not when they play it. They play that song later.
Oh, okay.
And they're synchronous.
Yeah.
Which was weird. And you find out later why they're synchronous. It's because they now share a consciousness.
Yeah. I think...
like, and they're doing their little drums hella creepily. Or not the drums, the fucking guitar.
Yeah, I think the contrast from them performing versus Sammy...
I know. Oh, yeah. Well, I know. I noticed that too. I was like, oh, it was like hella like weak and like...
Yeah.
Not fun.
And it gave more like... I don't know, it gave like it's not like they are in it for the performance. It's like they want to be heard so they can spread a message almost in a way.
It was like
it was weird.
It was a little Christianity.
Yeah. It was a little weird, and I think that's the difference with Sammy and his performance at the juke joint, cuz it's like he's performing almost like for himself.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't care if people like it or not. Well, he obviously cares if people like it, but it's like he's performing for himself.
He's performing for everyone, and they're performing for an objective to get in and to kill everybody.
Yes.
Okay, they don't get let in. Smoke tells Sammy not to play anymore. Mary tells Stack that she's gonna go investigate, and she's like, "They'll tell me more than they'll tell you," because she's like, white lady, or is she? Or like white passing?
She's white passing, yeah. For sure.
Okay. Mary sees them outside playing a song just outside. And we go again with these 3 gold doubloons.
Yeah.
She hands them over to her. And he's like about to like grab her or some shit, and then she pulls a gun on them.
Yeah.
Which does little to what's the word? Does little to no damage. Thank you. Little to no damage for the devil. And this happening just as Perlene starts belting, because apparently she's a singer.
Yeah.
And I love her little dress. And the scarf, or the satin silk scarf.
She looked good, yeah.
So cute. Looked good. Okay, let me be conscientious of time. Okay. Mary comes out the door. And she says this. Says, "Are you gonna let me in, or are you just gonna sit blocking the door?" Which is the same phrase we heard earlier, which is "let me in," which is only said by the devil and his patrons.
So by that point, I would say it's clear that they got to her.
Yeah. Because
then
when I heard that, I was like, "Oh, she's gone."
Yeah, I think for me it was like when she turns.
Yeah.
And Remick like jumps from where he's sitting all the way like up to her, but we never see him fully bite her or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we just know that like she got like
she got, especially because she came back and she didn't like seem like flustered.
Yeah.
Or like you know.
It seemed like her goal was literally just to get in.
Just to get in, yeah. She didn't see, like, she would have been like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, those guys try to fucking do something to me. You know, that's what I would have said.
Yeah.
But she was a vampire. Okay. And then Cornbread goes to the bathroom and leaves Slim at the door. Then Mary goes straight to, and this is where I got confused, because they weren't wearing the hats. And I was like,
yes.
Now it was fucked. Because I was like, who is she talking to?
I'm glad you mentioned it, because I thought she was talking to the other brother, not the one that she was with originally. So
I thought so too. No, but she wasn't. She was talking to Smoke. No. She was talking. No. She was talking to Stack.
Yes.
She was talking to Stack. That was her main guy, right?
Yeah, that was her man.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was talking to him, and this is where I got confused, because I was like, because he says something like, "Oh, you don't belong to me," or something, and I'm like, what the fuck? Do you like?
I didn't catch that. Yeah.
Dude, and I was like, I thought I had y'all figured out, because Stack, says that to her, and he was like, oh, you can just steal some coochie tonight, or something like that, something vile.
Yeah. I wish you would have gotten that quote, what she said exactly.
No, I wasn't going to write that down.
It was so funny.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. And then, then they go to the shack in question, and they have a moment.
And they duke it out.
And they work out their differences. Okay. So yeah, and then Sammy catches them. In there, and this is where her bite is revealed on her fucking back.
Yeah. It's revealed before she bites him?
Yes, it's revealed before she bites him. You see the bite mark on her back.
Yeah, I didn't.
The devil bit her back.
Yeah.
So she walks in on them, and then she goes tell Smoke. Smoke walks in on them and sees Mary biting the fuck out of him.
Yeah. So sad.
Fucking nasty. And they kick everybody out. Everybody has to go home, which is where the monsters are. Which was like, fuck. Now everybody... No survivors. Yeah, everybody's fucked. And then Cornbread emerges from the forest. He says, well, let me in so I can help.
Yeah.
Once again, our favorite phrase, which might be the tagline for this podcast, let me in. Anyways, so he demands his money. Smoke hands it over to him through the door, which is when he tries to fucking bite him, which is honestly the scariest scene for me from the whole movie. Do you remember that scene?
Yes.
He looks like the clown from It.
Yeah, he does.
Hella.
Yeah.
And it scared the fuck out of me.
And not to mention, this is my favorite scene too, where, what's her name? The woman healer who can...
Oh, hold on. Annie.
This is my favorite scene where Annie tells Cornbread,
oh yeah,
she's like, why can't your big ass just push us away and
or
come
just
in?
Walk right in?
And I was like, good on her for literally covering her
that.
bases.
Yeah. Right after, like clockwork, there's a knock from the fuck shack.
Oh.
And it's Stack.
Yeah.
And like it's a whole thing. They go back and forth, and like he's saying, like, it's me, like, let me out. And then he fucking knives the door.
Yeah.
And then Sammy looks through that same fucking hole that there was a knife through. I was like, oh, for sure, he's gone.
Yeah.
They didn't do that there, which I thought for sure they were going to do.
Yeah.
Whatever. He breaks out. Annie throws pickled garlic at him. He burns because it's garlic.
And then he runs away. Smart on Annie. She's, to me, like the smartest one.
I know, she should have lived
there. Yeah.
I think she was the final girl.
She was basically
technically the final girl.
Yeah.
There was no final girl in the show.
There should have been.
I know.
Yeah, it should have
but
been.
It just wasn't one of those films. It just wasn't one of those films. I don't know. Anyways, so they find a dead body there, and I don't remember who the dead body was, honestly.
But then
they
it
put it
turns
out
that it's not really a dead body.
Oh yes, yeah. Okay, yeah. They it's not. He's just passed out.
He's passed out, and he had a certain alcohol that looked like blood. I don't know if it's wine or something that was spilled near his head.
Oh, okay.
And so
see, okay. Thank God. Yeah. See, this is why we do this together. Because I did not catch that. I just thought that was like a random person that like he went out to go pee as well. And then came back. Okay, okay.
So at the time when they found him, everyone who was inside still was not bitten yet.
Yeah. And they had everybody like eat a pickle. Or not a pickle. Fuck.
Garlic.
A Freudian slip. Eat
a pickle.
I love pickles so much. No. Ate a piece of garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were all fine.
And to me, it's like a really good tension scene because now you almost want to... It's not wanting to turn on someone, but you're keeping an eye out on who doesn't eat the garlic or doesn't eat it right.
They all eat the fucking garlic. It was just like a tension builder, and I was like, okay, whatever.
But
like
I loved it.
I didn't really... I was like, whatever.
And I loved how Sammy was almost trying to make an excuse for his lady. For his lady to not eat
and he got fucking gunpun.
Yeah,
he got
good. Because I would not made an excuse for her. I would have told her, eat that fucking garlic now. Matter of fact, eat two. Bitch, like...
No. I would have been loyal to my lady and gone a punt gun. I don't know. Anyways. Okay, so then the stranger comes back to consciousness. Mm-hmm. What the fuck? The straggler. The straggler, not the stranger. The straggler comes back to consciousness, starts knocking the door. Fucking gets like murdered.
Too little, too late. Yeah.
To a pulp.
Yeah. By
Cornbread. Which is where Grace's husband comes out hella like nonchalant.
Totally.
Like, hella suave, trying to get Grace to lure her out. He's like, hey, I got the car. Like, just come
And I think this is literally happening as Cornbread is eating.
Cornbread is eating, and she's like, he's killing him. He was like, oh, he's just hungry. That's all. And I was like, oh my God.
Such like a comedic scene, to be honest.
Comedic scene, yeah. I was like, damn. And surely she wouldn't. That wouldn't work, and it didn't. Okay, and then the devil comes.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to strike a deal and says he just wants Sammy, and that like everybody else can live if he just has Sammy. And he's like, and Sammy's about to sacrifice himself. And they don't let him, of course. And then the devil starts talking to fucking Grace. I forgot what language, in her native language.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And like sometimes, and saying like, oh, I know all the ways that you like to be whatever.
Yeah.
And I know everything.
Yeah.
And I may even pay a visit to Lisa. And she's like, no. Yeah. And she's like, and now they throw it. And she's the only one with a kid in that place. So it's fair that like she's, feeling some type of way about it. Anyways, fast forward, out of frustration and because of the threat on her daughter, she invites everybody in.
Yeah. Which I hated, but
I know, because I was like, could you invite like one of them at a time?
And then we realized that she could have just waited an hour more and
and they all would have died.
Yeah, so.
Did they know that though?
I think they didn't know the time. I think so. I don't know why.
They tell the time from like the sun and the moon.
Well,
I don't know. The story has to go on.
The story had to go on, so I appreciated it as a storytelling device because I'm like, okay, the story had to go on, but I hated that her just being like, everyone come in.
Get that bad. Yeah, crazy. And then it's literally the slaughterhouse.
Yep. People dying left and right.
Yeah, Annie like goes after some guy who's burning, and then she starts burning. Many of the vampires die. Perlene gets bit. I'm like fast forwarding through all of this to gauge.
Yeah. A lot of people get bit. Perlene,
Annie, but then what's his name? Let me just make sure I'm getting this right. Smoke like kills her before she turns, so she can go to the afterlife, which very expertly done on her part.
Yeah.
Because if not, she would have been a vampire.
Yeah.
And then what else can I tell you? I should have put some markers here. Well, Slim sacrifices himself. He like cuts himself on the fucking bottle or some shit to attract the vampires to him.
Oh yeah.
And he like takes them out. Fast forward. Oh, Slim. Oh no, I said that already. Sammy then jumps out of the barn, which is crazy. It's like 2 stories.
Yeah.
He's fine though, recuperates. Devil jumps from the barn to him.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
No man should be able to do that. Wait, did I miss a scene?
Smoke and Stack fighting.
No, dude, I think I missed a scene. There was a scene when they're dancing in a fucking circle and he's hitting the Irish jig. Did I miss that?
Oh,
Fuck, I think I did. I wrote that down somewhere. Hold up. Oh, I did miss it. It was after Annie throws pickled garlic at Stack. Okay, let's go back to this because this is literally what I wanted to tell you in the car.
Okay.
So they bring out the dead body. So this is where they bring out the so-called dead body. That's just the unconscious straggler. And the Irish montage begins. When they start, this is where they start singing "Rocky Road to Dublin" in the circle, and they start hitting that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm watching the show I'm watching the movie with Michael, and I turn to Michael, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to Ireland no more. I'm like, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
Because the devil was an Irish man.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
And then he gets an Irish accent. He cuts the fucking country accent, and his real accent comes out, which I didn't know was fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
TBH.
They made it scary.
They made an Irish accent scary because when you hear that shit and he starts hitting that shit, and like he has this like yellow eyes or whatever, it's really scary. Whatever. That was all.
No, perfect. Like that's good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're almost done here. So he starts reciting. So he jumps off the barn, gets to Sammy. He starts reciting "Our Father" for some reason.
Well, I think Sammy says it first.
Oh, yes. Then he mimics it, and then he
trying
mocks
to be like,
him.
That doesn't do anything.
Yeah, doesn't do shit. Whatever. Yeah. And then that's when he strikes him with the guitar.
Yeah.
And that hurts fucking everybody. And then all of them are like holding their head.
And I think it hurts specifically the devils or the vampires because it's like wood and silver.
Yes.
So I remember, I think the silver plate that was on the guitar was like burning him, and he had to take it out.
Yeah, he had to take that shit out. Yeah. Nasty as fuck. So he starts reciting, and then smoke comes out of nowhere, and he finishes him off with a stake. And then the sun comes up.
Yeah.
And the devil is gone.
Exactly.
From the earth.
Yeah.
And they burn alive as the sun rises.
Everyone burns, yeah.
Everyone burns. Except, oh no, did you stay after the movie?
Yes.
And watch, okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to that. So we return to our first scene of Sammy. And he's walking into the church. And now we're getting the scene from outside, and we hear like his dad talking to him and whatnot. And then we switch back to, give me a second, Smoke, and they're outside, and the Ku Klux Klan is outside the fucking mill house.
Yeah.
As promised.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Is this the scene where Smoke gets like the gun?
The machine
gun. I think it's a really good scene because it's like his final kind of goodbye to the world.
He gets shot there.
Yeah, he gets shot
and loses a lot of blood.
Yeah, but he manages to kill a good amount of people.
He kills everyone. He kills damn near everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody. Yeah, and then he collapses. He sees his baby and his wife, and he holds them in the afterlife.
Beautiful scene.
Yeah. She's like breastfeeding the little baby. So cute.
And I think it's a really beautiful scene because she mentions to him that there's someone waiting for her in the afterlife.
Well, she knew that. Yeah.
A little bit in the middle of the movie. And I remember when I was watching it, I was like, obviously the baby, but then I was like, oh, like, it almost felt like that was a very interesting thing to note. Like, she specifically said, someone's waiting for me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, and I'm glad that we got the resolution of seeing them fully again.
Right, all together. That was nice. That was a very nice sentiment.
Yeah.
Okay, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward to the last scene.
Yes.
Okay, so then in the last scene, it's Sammy all grown up. He's playing at a bar that he owns, and like they're like, oh, there's two people that want to come in, and it's fucking Mary.
Yeah.
And Stack.
Yeah.
And they're like tricked out and like swagged out.
She looked like a bad bitch.
She was a bad bitch. She was a bad bitch then and now.
She had the lollipop and everything.
Oh, I know. She had like a little puffer jacket or something. Yeah, it was cute. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And then and then he was like, oh, Shmo promised that I wouldn't hurt you or something. But yeah, and they reminisced, and that was like the best day of his life and also the worst.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. I think so too.
But yeah. Well, colorín colorado.
Yeah.
But yeah, any final thoughts?
No, I think one of the points that you mentioned about the movie is the almost like wanting to know more about characters and their backgrounds and stuff. I think that's probably one of the weaker points, but that's definitely a good weak point to have. If
it is.
Movie...
Especially because you want your audience to like your characters.
Exactly.
Ooh, who is your favorite character?
I think Annie.
Which one's Annie?
Annie was the girl with the baby who was waiting for her in the
Okay.
Yeah.
I loved Grace, the shopkeeper.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Loved her.
Yeah.
I love a woman that can haggle.
But I hated her for letting them in.
Okay. She did what she had to do. Least favorite character. The devil. We hate the devil.
I think for me the least favorite character was probably the preacher. No, I'm kidding. I think the one, not the devil himself, but the woman.
Oh, the lady.
The lady who let him in.
The lady
her
who
house. Yeah.
The lady and the man. Why do you hate the woman, not the man?
Because the man just did what the woman was asking, and then I think at some point
they were both Ku Klux Klan members, though.
Well, yeah, I hate them both, but I think the woman, like her like finding them and then like just being like, I told you so, like that was a scene of like, I told you so, like you should have known he was a bad guy. I don't know, it stuck to me more.
I feel that. Okay.
Well,
cheers. Good. Alrighty. Well, that wraps up our first episode.
Perfect.
Will this be the first? We'll see. That wraps up this episode of Music on an Hour. If you liked what you saw, drop a like and a comment and subscribe so you know when.
What was your favorite character?
Oh yeah, what was your favorite character? Drop it in the comments down below.
Yeah.
Any last words?
No.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for listening. Peace out.